So, the finalists. First, I would like to welcome on stage Henrietta, who is representing Carboculture, and she's joining us now live from Finland. Please welcome Henrietta to take the stage.
Hello everybody. Lovely to see you. I hope you can see my slides. Excellent to be here. Yes, from Helsinki, Finland. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Carboculture, and we turn woody biomass waste into this kind of stable form carbon. So when we turn the woody waste into this kind of a form of carbon, which is very graphitic, it actually stays in this form for 1,000 years. So 60 generations onwards, you'll still find it in the same way. Why is that important? As the previous speaker mentioned a little bit, but we have this huge problem ahead of us, or actually happening right now. It's not just that we need to curb emissions, we actually need to physically bring down 1 trillion tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere within the next 10 to 15 years if we want to get under 2 Celsius warming. So this is a very relevant issue right now. Biochar has been hailed to be one of these solutions, but nobody's really come to work with a technology and a team that could hold that promise. So what we're doing is not only making kind of a carbon, but we're also using it as a leverage to hold down more greenhouse gases. So when you mix this carbon in with nutrients such as compost and you put it in the ground, for example, in an urban environment, it'll hold down gases such as methane and NOxes that are 10 to 100 times more potent. So we really get a leverage to the carbon dioxide removal there. We're working with cities and urban areas to really make urban areas flourish. This is our first market. Of course, there's many after this, but really urban areas have a lot of green infrastructure where this biochar can be very useful in water filtration and in the soil. This is where we are today. So basically, it's been our technology, this breakthrough technology in carbon conversion has been in research for over 15 years before this. And we were lucky enough to kind of now start holding the torch and start to commercialize this technology. So the middle photo is our not cleaned backyard, but in any case, it's about the size of a shipping container, and we can process about 0.5 ton per hour. So per 2 hours, sorry. So we're in our last phase before commercialization, and this year we're going to start building a full scale, or next to the full scale one third of a full scale. So basically our last version and a commercial version now, so we can make break even. In any case, one of these fully commercial facilities will draw down over 1 million tons of CO2 during its lifetime and make revenues of over 180 million euros. So really this is not just climate friendly, but it's also a good investment. This is our awesome team, and we just recruited amazing advisors. Can't wait to tell you more about it. But this is what's important. These next 12 months are going to be really critical for us in hiring, of course, the value of the company, but getting to that break even, getting to significant revenues, filing new IP, etc. So if you are in this space interested in climate and carbon drawdown, please let us know and get in touch with us. I'd be super happy to talk to you afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Henrietta. That was great and also right on time. Thank you for that. And now I would like to welcome on stage our next startup who is pitching tonight. If we can go back to my screen. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit like not behind schedule. I'm in front of the schedule. We're moving to the panel, of course. Please,
you, Maria.
Mariana, I will give you the stage.
Thank you, Maria. Okay. Yes, also thank you from my side, Henrietta, for this exciting pitch. I have 1 or 2 questions for the panelists. First, Donat, what potential do you see in the market? We just heard they are stepping in now, they're coming on in the industrialization phase. What is your feedback? Maybe also your recommendations.
Well, Mariana, you like simple answers. Big is my answer. simply because this is not just about avoiding less carbon dioxide, it's not about trading funky certificates on big computers, it's actually real stuff. It's taking, as she said, 1 million tons of oxygen out of the air and packing it into these biochar, which can be then in itself capturing all the carbon dioxide and capturing additional gases. So it's just brilliant, and it's tangible, and there should be the demand. The question is, can the team build enough installations? Can their plant be scaled up? Can it actually deliver on the 1 million tons in a lifetime? If it does, it's brilliant.
Yes, maybe a feedback from your side, Eric?
Thank you, Henrietta, for the great pitch. I think the key here, as from an investor point of view, is IP. So make sure that you have freedom to operate, that you have a brilliant IP strategy, and then the kind of scaling up. Make sure that you have enough partners to market it. And these kind of aspects and use the regulations which will come in place, I'm sure, in different jurisdictions to lever off your products.
Okay, Sabine, maybe from an impact point of view, what is your feedback?
Well, I will use the same word, very big. No, I think this is one of the technologies that can make and hopefully will make a huge difference. And what I also think is great that you're tackling this across continents, between Europe and the US at that point already. And I think that's just the way to go. And go wherever you have the strongest momentum and keep going. And if the investors back you, wherever you find them, just go and make use of the network you already have and build on that.
Thank you so much, Maria. Now it's time.
Yeah.
I give
Okay,
it
now
back
it's
to
my
you.
turn again. No, thank you so much for the great insights from the panel. And now I'm happy to welcome our next startup on stage, and that is Maya, representing Care to Translate from Sweden. So please welcome Maya to join us live here now.
Thank you. A 1-year-old girl died because of language barriers at a hospital here in Sweden. The staff did not understand that she had asthma because her parents didn't speak Swedish, and during a surgery, she stopped breathing, and then she died. This example shows us how important safe communication is in a healthcare context. And in order to make healthcare equal and to tear down language barriers, we have developed Care to Translate, a digital medical translator. Good solutions in healthcare are lacking for breaking language barriers, and this has serious consequences. The most common solution to overcome this is to use interpreter services, but accessibility is limited, and on top of that, medical certified interpreters are scarce. In many parts of the care chain, there are no interpreters at all. In the ambulance, in the reception, in the emergency, we estimate that 90% of healthcare staff don't have access to interpreters today. And despite the lack of interpretation, today's inflexible and in most cases non-medical solutions cost at least 100 million euros annually in Sweden alone. Many probably think of machine translation as an alternative, and those solutions work well if you need to translate an email. But within healthcare, there is no room for error margin. We must not misunderstand the question, does your daughter have asthma? It must be 100% correct. Today, Care to Translate offers medically, contextually, and culturally correct translations in over 30 languages, which makes us much more competitive and safe than our competition. The app is available for all smart devices 24/7, no matter where you work in healthcare or in what role. Just select the target language, choose what you want to communicate, and the phrases are translated in both text and sound. We offer the app as a SaaS solution where you can use the basic range completely free of charge, but can unlock more functionality through monthly subscriptions. And our customers are healthcare professionals such as doctors and nurses, but also entire healthcare organizations like clinics and hospitals. Medical schools and patients and nonprofits are using the app for free. This helps us reach out with our brand and also gives us a quality stamp. Having built a scalable product from start, we have experienced rapid growth, 70% organically since the company was established 2 years ago, and have now over 100,000 users in 170 countries. And our users rate our product as excellent. We are proud to have facilitated over 2 million translations, making impact as we speak. Every translation makes a difference. Our team is very professional. We have vast experience in entrepreneurship, technology, healthcare, and languages, and I have no doubt that our strong team will make us reach the goal of replacing interpreters in healthcare with a voice-controlled digital translator in the future. One click to download, one click to use, an immediate impact on somebody's life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maya. And now I again hand over the word to Mariana directly.
Thank you, Maya, for this impressive pitch. I think my first question goes to Philip with his Google background. Is it really true? Is there not another solution out there? Is it needed care to translate?
I definitely think it's needed. I was definitely one of the supporters of this solution because it's very tangible. I think specifically in those situation where there is totally no room for any errors, the solution is excellent. Also, the usability is great. So there is definitely room, and you see that it's used all over the globe. I think there maybe just one thing. Like how can you scale it even bigger? We heard it already in the first pitch, and I think this is a big problem. If your market is globally in 170 countries, how do you make the go-to-market? How do you have partnerships? Because you, with a fantastic team out of Sweden, you will not be able to scale it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you so much. Rod, what do you think from the UK perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to understand about this, obviously it's quite needed and the impact is really, really clear. I'm trying to understand the ability to, with 100% accuracy, which is what is needed, give people translations of complex medical devices. So I would like to see information about how that is possible and how that's achieved, and also the extent to which that's been tested. The second thing, I think it's really important that they've grown to 100,000 users. And what I'd really like to understand is how many of those are free users as opposed to how many of those are paying customers, because I think that will be a real test of the demand for this product.
Thank you so much. Yes, with this feedback from Rod, I give back to you, Maria.
Yes, thank you, Mariana. I'm also very much looking forward to the next pitch and all the pitches, actually. So our next finalist is also joining us live from another location in Switzerland, and I would like to welcome on stage GreenY Energy, represented by Dominic.
So thanks, Maria, for the intro. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Dominic, and I'm a co-founder of GreenY. It's my pleasure to present you the energy future, which we can realize already today. Our mission is to provide 100% of our energy from renewables and at lower costs than today. What is the challenge? The production of renewable electricity, for example, with wind and solar, is already cost competitive. However, low-cost storages are required to provide it around the clock. Further, the heating sector have to be replaced. What our competitors offer today, the heat pump and the battery, is clearly too expensive and non-sustainable materials. GreenY provides the key to solve this. The compressed air technology stores electricity and generates renewable heat and cold, all in one device at low costs and directly in the building where the energy is needed. What are the benefits for our customers? The combined approach increases their profit, their emissions are reduced by replacing fossil fuels, and on top of that, our system works with air and water only. So in short, we make the energy transition profitable and sustainable. What are the achievements and the next steps? Our patent pending technology is proven on a prototype. We secured 400K non-dilutive funds and are closing our seed investment round this month. So there's still 2 weeks time to join. The next milestone is to realize the signed pilot project at the customer side before the Series A investment pushes the commercial release, where we already spent the second. The support and visibility in the Swiss ecosystem allows us to cope with this ambitious timeline. Who are we? The co-founders Patrick, Rafik, Peter and myself build up the core team and combine engineering, business and startup experience. In addition, our advisory board adds valuable know-how and network specifically in the energy sector. Corporates, investors and foundations, don't miss your opportunity. Our competitive advantage and scalable business model in a sizable market guarantees commercial success. Our solution contributes 5 UN Sustainable Development Goals and creates not only environmental, but also social and economic impact. So join the energy revolution today. Thank you very much.
So much, Dominic. That was right on time. And again, I would like to hand over directly to Mariana and the panel to give their feedback on the pitch.
Yes, thank you so much. Rod, from investor perspective, with a good overview about the European market, what would be your advice for Dominic?
Well, this sounds very exciting, and congratulations to him and all your speakers so far who finished right on the money. So that's very good. If they can be as precise in their business as they are in their timing, it's amazing. Let's face it, the big problem in renewable energy right now, which Dominic has put his finger on, is the storage issue. He didn't explain really how he solved it, but I'll just take for granted that he has solved it, which is impressive. It sounds like a localized solution. So it sounds like, as far as I can understand, people are actually having something in their homes or on a local level. I think if you can localize that energy storage, that's also fantastic. But I think that what he and a lot of the entrepreneurs need to address is what is the route to market? How are they going to really scale and work through partners who have the sort of distribution that can really enable them to scale this technology, which sounds incredibly impressive. So I think the issue here is route to market and how to scale fast.
What's your feedback, Donat?
Oh, I love this. We did spend in the jury some time thinking about and understanding how you do it, and I'm confident they can do it. But yes, indeed, you need to find a way to scale and partner. I'm a bit concerned that it might take, some buildings or houses 2-3 years of operation until authorities and investors maybe believe that it actually works and it is a long-term durable solution. So scratch your head very hard on how to accelerate this, to parallelize processes, so you get your proof of concept and get it really hard so that you can then scale and invest. Don't sit there 3 years with the clock ticking just to get your proof.
Okay, thank you so much. Maria, the next pitch should be ready.
Again, thank you, Mariana, for the feedback and the panel. Actually, our next finalist is also joining us live from another location in Switzerland. It's actually Pascal, and he is representing Movement Sciences, and I would like to welcome him to take the stage now.
Thank you for having me. Dear audience, imagine Europe could reduce the healthcare cost by 70 billion euros per year if we just increased autonomy in old age. To get there, we already have finalized two successful investment rounds. We have several retirement homes of the 2 largest private operators in Switzerland as paying customers. We work with 2 development partners on our innovation project, and we are supported by 4 organizations. My name is Pascal Brunner. I'm a movement scientist, co-founder, and the CEO of Movement Sciences. Movement Sciences fights the age-related loss of autonomy. One of the main reasons for this are spinal disorders. As modern movement sciences shows, the main reason for spinal disorders is the lack of movement. Strictly speaking, the lack of vertebral rotation as they occur when walking, running, or sprinting. We have now developed a device that produces exactly this spinal rotation while lying down or sitting. We use it to get bedridden people into wheelchairs and wheelchair users up and walking again. Please convince yourself in the following video. This is Frau Muklin. A year ago, she decided to stay in bed because her life became too painful. As you can see, her spine is extremely stiff. Within 3 to 4 weeks, with our device under her back, she became more and more active until she decided to go back into the wheelchair. From this moment on, her social life started again. In the video, you have seen the effects of the simple mechanical device, but Pegasus Spine is more than this. It is an extremely effective overall solution in a retirement home, because for our customers, we improve the treatment success through automation, we reduce the nursing time through digital coaching, and we simplify the administration with digital documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, lots of residences are waiting eagerly for Pegasus Spine. Together, with your vote now, we can help the people around us, the people who raised us, the people we know since we are born, the people we love. Thank you very much for your attention and have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much, Pascal, for your pitch. And now I'm sure you're also curious to hear the feedback from the panel. So I'm directly handing over back to the panel and Mariana.
Thank you, Pascal. Sabine, what would you say, where could be the hurdles and how could movement science overcome these hurdles?
Yeah, I have one thought on the hurdle and also one idea. I mean, on the hurdles, I think it's obviously getting maybe some chains of retirement homes, getting some opinion leaders, but also opinion leaders that basically have care homes within their reach in order to really implement. But my thought is, I wonder if you should, and it's always important to focus, of course, but maybe even consider a different market. I mean, with all of us now in the home office due to Corona, having reduced movements a lot, maybe there's a market for prevention, and I'm sure you tested that, but maybe that's the moment now to convince all of us home office people that we might use that in a prevention, in a prophylactic way, and you could double, triple, whatever, and save lots of care money afterwards. So just a thought.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Eric, what do you think from an investor perspective?
Yeah, I mean, two great buzzwords, right? It's automation and digital. So digital coaching and automating the whole treatment. So I think it's great. What I didn't really get through to is what are the regulatory requirements? Do you have a CE mark, and what is the process there? What is the IP behind it? This is obviously also key to understand whether it is something which could be reverse engineered quite swiftly or not. So these are kind of my first thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. From the feedback from your side, Philip?
Yeah, what I really like is the combination from a device and also like this digital solution that you have. I could see, already this moving into other fields afterwards, because I had my parents were both in an elderly home, so I felt and I saw how things work there, and I think what the situation, how it's normally in such elderly homes, there is not enough time to spend with people. So a solution like yours can exactly go into this field, and maybe you can even think bigger and use this for other treatments.
Okay, thank you so much. Maria, you can announce the next panelist. No finalist, yes.
Thank you, Mariana. Our next finalist is joining us from France, and I apologize in advance if I pronounce your name now not in the French way, because my French is not great. But I would like to welcome Nicolas to join us, and he's representing Neolite from France.
Yes, hello everyone. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I was muted. So, hello everyone. Today I will be talking about these little rocks. So, these rocks are little rocks. They look like rocks. They feel like rocks. They even taste like rocks, but they are not usual rocks. They have a superpower. Their superpower is that they can reduce by 5% the global greenhouse gas emissions. 5% is super huge. It's twice more than the global greenhouse gas emissions of the air traffic, for example. But how can a rock reduce global greenhouse gas emissions? It's because it's not a natural rock. It has been made from your waste, and that's what we are doing in Neolith. We turn your waste into stones. Today, when your trash is collected, it is either buried or incinerated. In both cases, it generates a huge amount of pollution. With our process, we can turn the same waste into mineral aggregates that can be used for the construction sector, especially for road beds and the concrete. The inventor of this process is this man, so he means nothing to you, but to me, it's my father. And he demonstrated that if you grind waste into little particles and you add a special cement of this composition, you can inert those waste and also give an aggregate that has the same properties, mechanical properties, as a natural aggregate from a carrier. So to build this project, he gathered a little team of engineers. So he went not that far because in the team there are his two sons. So William Jr., my brother, who helps him in the research and development, and myself, I'm the CEO of Neolith. And we also adopted Clément, our new CEO. But we also interested many partners. So we have an awesome board who invested in us, like Jacques Attali, or the École Polytechnique in France, or also Frédéric Mazella, the founder of BlaBlaCar. Technically, the process is made by the Fossilizator. So it's a mobile treatment unit in containers that can treat 10 tons a day of the waste. It can either treat solid waste from municipalities or industrial waste from construction sector or any industry. And those wastes are turned into aggregates in only one day. Today, we are at our laboratory pilot, making a small treatment unit of 300 kilos a day. And we will be setting up our demonstrator in Bordeaux by March of next year. So thank you. To resume, we are Neolith. We want to reduce by 5% the global greenhouse gas emissions by turning your waste into stones.
Thank you so much. We will hand right over to the panel again to get their feedback.
Thank you. A question to you, Rod. Could that be also a solution for other European countries?
Absolutely. This is a very fascinating idea, and like a lot of great ideas, it's a very simple idea. Simple ideas, in my mind, go a long way. I think there are some real positives about this business. The fact that it's simple, the fact that it will reduce waste, which is a big problem across Europe, and that's really quite essential. They have a really strong board. So a name like Jacques Attali on the board is really quite impressive, or the advisor, and also people from APAC. So that's all quite good. I would say on the other side, though, they're quite early in the process. I really don't know what the cost effectiveness is of their rocks compared to normal aggregates. And to my mind, that was not addressed by Nicolas. And also, he just needs to be warned that family businesses are always going to be looked at a bit strangely by investors. And 3 out of the 4 members of the management team are from the same family. That's fine in this phase, but he needs to address that and professionalize things as quickly as possible, because investors will be hesitant.
Thank you. Donat, what are the challenges from your perspective?
Your father is my hero. There is so much waste and there are so many roads being built. This is a brilliant business model. But just like Rod said, you need a completely different kind of firepower to make this work. On the one hand, you need a lot of money, you need a lot of big industrial partners to do the transformation process and scale it up, just like Sam with the poly beforehand. But also you will need to negotiate the hell out of big companies like the construction firms, the road building firms, and the government. So you guys need a lot of armor and a lot of weapons in your arsenal. I don't know if it's the three of you, maybe it's others. That is the one key point, guys.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. I hand over to Maria.
Thank you. So next up, we're welcoming Jari, joining us from the Netherlands, and he is representing SpeakSee. Please, Jari, take the stage.
Thank you, Maria. Now I'll introduce the mission of SpeakSee by telling you a personal story. Both of my parents are deaf, and throughout my youth, I've experienced the hurt of seeing my parents unable to follow conversations, of seeing them unable to meaningfully participate, and experiencing the unfairness of enjoying a conversation myself while my parents couldn't do that. And my parents are not alone. A growing number of 466 million people worldwide are struggling with a day-to-day hearing loss. And the only options they have are hearing aids, which don't work for people with a more severe hearing loss. Lip reading, with which you can only follow 30% of what's being said. And captioners and interpreters, which, to be honest, isn't true autonomy because you have to take a person everywhere you go. And that's why we've developed the solution. We have developed a system of microphones that someone who's deaf or hard of hearing can hand out during a conversation. Then the speech is captured in a group and transcribed to text in different colors for each person. As you can see live on my smartphone, it works. And it even works during situations with background noise because of our beamforming technology. So what's so unique about this technology? Where traditional speech recognition did work for one-to-one conversations or dictation purposes, SpeakSee is the world's first device which is able to accurately transcribe group conversations with up to 95%, even when there is background noise. And we are not the only ones who thought this was a great idea. We organized a crowdfunding campaign where we received 450 pre-orders, raising 165,000 euros from an engaged community of backers. We are trusted by customers like the Rabobank, the Dutch National Police, and a large Dutch government institution. And the results of our testing have been very positive so far. We will bring this product to market in October this year, where we will scale to 1,000 units in the field. And after that, of course, we're planning to scale a lot further. We're combining a one-time purchase fee for the device with an annual transcription fee, and we are able to realize a 10 times cost reduction compared to a traditional speech-to-text services from a person, from a live captioner. And with this great team of people, we will make the world more accessible for the deaf and hard of hearing. Thank you very much, and we will hope that you will support SpeakSee by voting for us, because we could really use the financial support as well as the public recognition. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jari, and let's move directly to our expert panel and see what feedback they have for SpeakSee.
Thank you, Pari, for the presentation. Sabine, where do you think are the potential in the market and also maybe the hurdles?
Yeah, I think the potential will be to build on the successful crowdfunding approach you've taken. I thought that was really impressive. You could have also taken a different route, of course. But then now it seems to be still very, very Netherlands focused. So maybe now this the SEIF Award event and the stage where you're now is really the time to just go across borders and pick one or two countries and get going there. I think this is just the time to roll out.
Yes, when we speak about growth and scale, Philip, maybe some advice from your side.
Yeah, I very much like the solution because it's very tangible, and that was very impressive also to see how it really works in the preparation. I think that I really like the community approach that you're doing, and I think with that obviously, like people exchange with similar problems. So I would definitely push on that one and to scale through those communities that you have, and then you can also do it like more in more countries than just the Netherlands, definitely.
Maybe Eric, feedback from your side?
Yeah, what I liked about is obviously the recurring revenue from a business perspective. So you're adding, you have a one-off plus then an annual recurring licensing fee, which I obviously like as an investor. The market size I'm not quite sure about in terms of addressable market. So you need to really work those numbers to get and with again partners the scale which you want to achieve.
Okay, thank you so much, Maria. We are looking forward to the 9th presentation of a finalist.
Thank you. We're moving pretty quickly towards the end of the pitch session. And next up, I would like to welcome Effie, who's joining us from France, representing Synovance. Please, Effie.
Okay. So once again, I'm Effie from Synovance, a biotech company that's part of Genopol, the largest biocluster in France. A few words about where I come from. So I have a scientific background in chemistry and biology. For over 15 years, I did research on molecular mechanisms of pathogenesis in bacteria. And this research was very exciting, but somehow I was unfulfilled. I wanted my work to have a real impact. So this is why in 2017, I decided to take a master's in business at HEC Paris and create my own enterprise. Following my degree, I launched Synovance with my co-founder, Brian Jester. Our common goal was to use biotechnology to target some of the most urgent needs, such as sustainability, water pollution, and hunger. We recently welcomed in the team Rima and Francois that share the same vision for a sustainable future. So what do we do at Synovance? We engineer microorganisms to produce valuable products, and we're currently filing patents to protect our technology. Additionally, we have developed methods to extract sugars from biomass waste, which would otherwise go to landfills. These sustainable sugars we then use in our fermentations in line with the circular economy. In the end, we have our bioproduced dyes, among them indigo, the color of blue jeans, but also a purple pigment called the violacin, which has antibacterial properties and can be valuable to the medical industry. The problem we're addressing is water pollution by the textile dyeing industry, one of the worst polluters of the fresh water. The textile dyes are usually derived from fossil fuels, and during their synthesis, several extremely toxic chemicals are used. A lot of these chemicals end up in the rivers, making the water undrinkable and polluting the environment. Our product does not use any chemicals, so it's 100% safe for the people that work in the industry, but also the local communities, especially in developing countries. The market we're addressing is clearly very large. We will target the natural dye segment, which is a 5 billion market, and we expect to capture 0.3% of this market. Here's our roadmap. We have finished prototyping at the lab. Now we seek financing to enter the pilot phase. Here we will do the test of our products and have our first sales. And following this, we will either move to industrialization or license our technology to a partner. So our platform is very agile and can be addressed to target several different markets. We can produce proteins that are suitable for human consumption, pharmaceuticals, and other valuable chemicals. So to summarize our value proposition, we do not use fossil fuels, we do not use chemicals, we can offer a competitive price, and we valorize waste. So our solution is 100% sustainable. Thank you for your attention.
Happy that we could hear you finally and that you were able to pitch as well tonight from France. And now again, I hand over to the panel to give some insights on Synovance.
Yes. Donat, what's your advice from an investor perspective?
I think you have the science under control, but you definitely have to work on the communication, because this is an extremely brainy thing you're doing, but it's also a brainy way in which you're communicating it. And actually what you've done is take some microbes, make them do tricks and somersaults to produce a product you like, and you feed them, instead of with ingredients you buy, like sugars, which would be very expensive, you feed them with bio-waste. It's brilliant. It just needs a lot of simplification. Then you can light the fire in non-scientific people, like investors, like consumers, customers, maybe even some crowdfunding at some point. My genes made by bacteria instead of big dirty factories. You need to work on communication, big time.
Rod, maybe can I hear your perspective?
Yes, it sounds terrific. Probably bordering on almost a too good to be true bit of the terrific. So I'm not doubting that she has mastered the technology, but I think that it does sound rather amazing. No chemicals, no petrol, and converting waste products into all these great things. I think it's extraordinary. I think that real evidence will have to be developed to prove this. I think that the other thing that I would just like to understand a little better than I have at this stage is why they have chosen the dye market. Seems quite, we've seen quite a few businesses like this that use science to convert waste into very useful subcomponents. But the marketplaces they're targeting are generally much bigger than I understand the dye market to be. And if she was so focused on the dye market, I would like to see at this stage much more traction, perhaps with partners who are prepared to buy their dyes and are working with them on it. So I think some outreach to the right sorts of industrial partners at this stage would be essential. Maybe
Sabine, would you also give some feedback?
Well, I'm the former scientist here in the jury, and I'm a former molecular biologist. So the idea of not just tech for good, but biotech for good, I think it's exactly the right approach. So I congratulate you for going down that route. And I also thought, the way I understand it, you have a platform technology which can be used for many things. It's not that easy to grasp what exactly it is. So you're choosing the dye application, which I think is there. It's easy to explain, and you use the molecular biology to do it. So I think my recommendation would also be, don't go too broad, pick one or two, and maybe also by likelihood of getting things forward. Like, if you have a partner for a certain area, even though the market size may not be huge, take that one first, and maybe leave some of the bigger ones. I mean, antibodies maybe a little bit too big to go there yet. So think really about a stepwise approach, like one or two more segments where you can really show that this platform is as amazing as you basically state it is.
Thank you. Now we have the Votorex, the last finalist pitching.
Yes, exactly. As Marianne already told you, so now you don't need me anymore, Marianne. Our next and final finalist is Pascal. He's representing Votorex, also joining us from Switzerland. Please, Pascal, welcome.
Well, hello. It's my great pleasure. My name is Pascal Brunner. I'm the CEO of Votorex. And at Votorex, we save the bees. And that's pretty important, because imagine a world without honeybees. That would be a gray world, without pollination, without food, without life. And we fight this issue. In our fight, we don't only combine sustainable action, but also a huge market potential. So the worldwide pollination is worth 153 billion euros every year, and 1.3 million beekeepers manage roughly 30 million hives in Europe and in North America. So all these beekeepers, they have one major issue, and it's the varroa mite. It's a small parasite. It's 1.6 millimeters, and it's present in every hive. And up to now, beekeepers had to use chemicals to treat against this mite. But this has negative impacts on the individual bee, on the colony, on the beekeeper, as well as on the honey that we eat. So we at Votorex, we are beekeepers ourselves, and we have developed a technology which uses heat, because at the temperature of 42 degrees Celsius, the mites get killed and the bees survive. So we have developed this technology and sold it to our first customers. But as soon as we had pilot customers, we talked about how they perceive it. And then we realized actually there's much more value to deliver. So around this Varroa treatment, we built a whole beekeeping technology suite, which is actually consists of the Varroa kit, of the monitoring tool, as well as the beekeeping management apps. So beekeepers have full control over their hives. So we have put our technology on 1,500 installations worldwide. The forest customer is in New Zealand. However, most of these customers are hobby beekeepers or the B2C market. So our next big step is to approach the B2B market and to scale up with professionals. Therefore, we are raising a Series A round. And if you as an investor are interested to joining us, please drop me a message on my email. If you join us as an investor, you join a fantastic team. It consists of 7 people, technicians, scientists, business people, and beekeepers. And it's really the vibe we have in the team at the current stage. It's just fantastic. I'm here today at the SEIF Awards only because of my team. And with these words, I wish you all a wonderful evening at this brilliant night. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pascal, for sharing everything about Vaterix. And now we will move on again to the panel to get some insights on the bees.
Yes, Pascal just told us about his next step and his growth strategy. Philip, what is your
Yeah, I like the passion, obviously, and we heard it also before. I think the family is always a good foundation of passion. So now I think the big step that you mentioned, but you didn't elaborate really on it, is really going into the B2B area and going a little bit out of maybe a hobby towards a business. So I would love to see there a little bit more, you know, are you having recurring revenues now with the platform that you're going? I think the solution as such and the passion and your family is a great foundation. And now you have to think about how to scale that globally onto the B2B channel.
Sabine, what do you think about potential competitors?
Well, I think the competitor is really the traditional way of doing things. Because I must admit, even myself, I was thinking, wow, even beekeeping these days is going to be a technology business. But on the other hand, there's a problem to be solved, which has not been solved yet. So the competitor is tradition. And currently we're facing so much disruption, and we have to let go of traditions we like, and we have to become more digital. So I think that's just what has to happen with the bees as well.
Rod, do you know the beekeeping market?
Well, I certainly don't know the market from personal experience, but we have actually already seen some UK endeavors looking at this area. A nice pun that he's now approaching it as a B2B business. I thought that was, I don't know if that was intentional or just an accidental pun. I think what's really interesting about this business and the management team is how they keep pivoting. And to me, that's a really successful example of a really good entrepreneurial team. So initially, they started by thinking about it and distributing it through these family bee keepers. Now they're thinking of a B2B extension. Originally, it was just a heating technology, but now they're coming up with this, overall beekeeping solution. So I think they've been innovative, they've been pivoting, they've been flexible, they have traction. Whether they're already at a Series A round, I think is a bit overstated, but I think it's interesting.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all panelists. It was really great to have this discussion with you, and I think it's very valuable feedback you could provide to all our finalists, and I hope it will help and support them to get to the next level in their development. With that words, we say from the panel side, we say goodbye, and yes, Maria, you are now on stage again.